Okay, so this is an introduction to auxiliary vanishing points. Use auxiliary vanishing points to complete the perspective view of the solid. The location of the picture plane, ground line, horizon line and spectator are given. So they've kind of half set the question up. We can set up the question as normal. So in other words, as we normally would, join our spectator to the widest points on the object, bisect the angle to get our central vision line. To find our vanishing points, we have horizontal lines going in this direction. We go parallel to that horizontal edge. So we get vanishing point 1. Bring it down parallel to the CVL line to get vanishing point 1 in our perspective view. Likewise, there are horizontal lines going in this direction. So we draw our line parallel to get vanishing point 2. Bring it down to our perspective view on the horizon line. The setup of the question then is the same as we always would. Our corner touches the picture plane, so that's where we start. We project our corner into plan. We measure the height of it, which is taken from our elevation. So we can measure that height, step it off, and we vanish our 2 lines in the direction of vanishing point 1. Back corner is brought back to hit the picture plane and down to get our back edge. So that's our front surface drawn in. Vanish in the opposite direction here to get the bottom line, the long edge, and we basically take our corner back and down to get the long edge. So I've got the basic shape of this set up. I don't know the height of this back section, and now I have to use vanishing points, auxiliary vanishing points, to figure out the slanted section. So there's a slanted section here. We could do it without vanishing points, but it's specifically asked for vanishing points, so you have to use them. Alright, first thing we have to do is figure out what lines we're dealing with and what direction we're dealing with them in. So our slope lines on my little 3D sketch here in red are that line and that line. Those slope lines are here in elevation. So that is the elevation of those 2 slope lines. And in plan, those lines are here and here. What's important about that is the direction. Those red lines are going in this direction, which is the direction of vanishing point 2. So this is the vanishing point we're going to be dealing with for setting up our auxiliary vanishing point. To figure out the vanishing point, we need to figure out the angle that the vanishing point is, or that the lines are rising at. So this here is the angle that the lines are rising at. This is the angle I'm going to use to set up an auxiliary vanishing point. What we're dealing with is the angle between horizontal and my red line, and that's the angle we're going to take. So if I sit in just a piece of cardboard to give you the idea, that is the angle we're dealing with. This is the height we're dealing with. I need to take that piece of cardboard, and at the minute in plan it's standing up. So at the minute it is here in plan. And what I'm going to do is rabat it on top of this line. So flatten it down. So here it is at the minute. I need to drop it down onto that line from the spectator to vanishing point 2. And I need to rebuild the same angle. So I'm going to rebuild this angle here. Now I'm not going to use a piece of cardboard. The handy way of doing it, or the straightforward way of doing it, is we recreate the angle. So the angle of that line is 22 degrees. I come down, I'll just highlight my vanishing point line a little bit. I'm coming off at 22 degrees from that line. So at the minute, I've got this much of the angle. But I need to extend it out. This 90-degree angle here needs to be moved out to here. So from the vanishing point. And so what I need to do is come off at 90 degrees to that line. and here is the height I'm looking for. The angle produces a rise, here's the rise, over this distance. What we have figured out is the angle produces a rise of this over the longer distance, this longer distance. So what we've done is extended out the angle and we've built a bigger triangle. So what I'm figuring out is, well, I know it rises this much over, it rises this much over this distance. Now it rises this much over this distance. This is the height that we're going to take for our auxiliary vanishing point. We've been dealing with vanishing point 2 all along. I take my distance and we measure it above vanishing point 2. So here was vanishing point 2, measured above, and here is our auxiliary vanishing point. The question then is actually pretty straightforward. I've got my red line, which is from this bottom point up. I vanish the same. So here's my bottom point, up. And that gives me my height. So again, here is my height. So that is the side drawn in. This red line, again, they're parallel, so it's the same vanishing point. I'm vanishing from here up. My last line here is horizontal, so it will just vanish as it normally would to vanishing point 1. And that is the question done. So the key to it is taking our angle and setting it up along our vanishing point line in the plan view. So we've copied the same angle. And that gave us our height, which we measured above the vanishing point.